All right, bruh fans, episode 13, a repeat. I actually like this episode a lot better than episode 12, so 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. The episode starts over, and my god, Pam just, I don't know, it's like Tom and Jerry between her and Bill. It's on site, but in this case, she just talking shit, even though Bill isn't, well, no, even when Bill is around, she don't give a damn. She's going to talk her shit, even if it's right in front of his face. But in this situation, she comes over to visit Regina, because I believe she did mention that her mom, Hilda, is just taking a walk. And her plan for the day is kind of, take her down to the sandwich shop, meet Miss Alice, and just kind of show her around the new town. Because remember, this is where she's living now. So, Pam is basically asking whether or not Regina's tracking Bill because she still has a bad feeling about where he went, quote unquote, jogging the other night, even though they had a full conversation on like a park bench. I remember like there was a Ferris wheel or something in the background, like an amusement park. And, Regina had a whole spiel about about how, hey, Pam, you told us to come out here. His car is parked right outside of the park entrance, so he's definitely on that jog, so I'm not going to track him. So why we spent a good 5 to 7 minutes of the episode going over whether or not Regina is going to track Bill is kind of beyond me. But Regina kind of flips the script like, so where's Mike at? When is he coming back? And apparently he's coming back from his rehab stay on Monday. And Regina's like, well, that's good. She's like, why? So that way you can stay out of my business. So Pam agrees to leave. And when she left, I looked up and I'm like, she ain't closed that door. Because I'm just used to my mom always being like, look at your sister done walked out the house, ain't closed this damn door, letting all my air out, letting all the heat out, whatever. So when she got up to leave and Regina, was pretty much like every one of us when we don't want to go on our crushes or our ex's social media page, you fight temptation and then you do it anyway. So then that's when Pam's like, what you doing? Hey, I ain't doing nothing. It's like, Bill's going to do what Bill's going to do. I'm not going to watch him. I'm not that kind of woman. And not to mention, didn't she say she was going to take the app off of his phone, but she has yet to do that? Huh. Okay, Regina. So, over at Tom's apartment, Bill is, beginning to work. Claudia comes in and, he asks her to sit down basically to explain, hey, what we did was fun. And she's like, wait, but? And I'm like, yeah, there's a but. We can't do it anymore. Why? It's not you. Look, it's your husband. Oh, he ain't going to catch us. And it's like, wait, are you really trying to gamble that? I mean, look, your husband has a reputation and a criminal record. I ain't trying to get, caught up like that. But, once she takes that dress off, honestly, I can't blame Bill. Did you see Claude? Did you see that body? Enough said. So they agree it's one last time. And that's one of the reasons why this episode does lose a few points, which I'll explain later on as we get to that part of the review. So over at the sandwich shop, Tom stops by because he's picking up lunch for several of the guys at the hospital, which I love, support black business. But basically he's trying to get some info. It's like, hey man, what's up with Mike? Has he checked in with you? I called, no answer, and I haven't been receiving any calls from him at all. And, they agree that later on, they'll try to, catch up with him down the road, see how he's doing. Miss Alice comes out and, flirts with Tom a bit before he leaves. And then, of course, you got some back and forth banter with John, which is interesting because the conversation of verbal and mental abuse is brought up. And I'm like, yeah, this lines up pretty well with all the abuse that's been going on in Sisters and the conversations or debates I've had with people online after the Danny situation. And then, of course, in the last episode of Bruh involving Dina. But in any case, we go over to Tom and Greg at the hospital. Probably the best part of the episode. Those sandwiches look pretty good. And since Miss Alice did not make them, I'm pretty sure they're trustworthy to be eaten. So, Tom and Greg are talking. And it turns out the reason Greg has been on the edge, overly emotional, pretty much been an asshole, is because his ex-wife is demanding more money. Which is kind of weird because he just said like the divorce was settled, meaning that and finalized. So, I mean, why would she be asking for money this quickly? I'm no expert in terms of divorce settlements. alimony, things like that. But if the divorce was finalized, is she able to just change, the amount of money she wants right away? It makes no sense. But in any case, it's discussed that, hey, Mike isn't, someone who works in divorces, but at the same time, he has colleagues who do, because he's a tax attorney. And I'm thinking, oh, Andy's a divorce lawyer. This could be a great way to kind of intertwine the two shows once again. Mike can ask Andy, even though I don't think they're on good terms, in order to, help out with a friend of his in the divorce settlement, which, again, if they aren't on good terms, don't get Andy, because Andy will probably make it where Greg has to pay through his nose to, appease his ex-wife. But yeah, from there we go over to Alice at the sandwich shop. Regina and her mom show up, and Regina introduces Hilda to Alice. And once Regina, kind of steps out for a moment, it's revealed that they didn't grow up pretty well, well off. Apparently Regina and her parents, they grew up pretty poor. And you would never guess that from, the Regina we see today. But in any case, Hilda actually kind of redeemed herself as a character for me. She wants to get a job at the sandwich shop to save up for an apartment, and Alice lets her know up front, oh, you getting a job here? You really can't afford no apartment. Well, I got to do something to save a little money, because, the apartment that Bill and Regina have is too small, and, I just don't want to be in the way. So we actually see a bit of redeeming qualities here. I like this, because in the last episode, she's like, what, he wants to throw me out, I ain't going nowhere. And then Regina's like, yeah, that's right. But now she, Hilda's like, after hearing Bill, he really doesn't want me here. And the last thing I want to do is stay here and get in the way of your marriage. And I'm like, that's, wow. Yeah, the intrusive Hilda has more sympathy for Bill than his own wife. That says a lot. But in any case, she does mention a couple of things like, I'm from, where did she say, Alabama or something like that? I forgot where she said she was from, but basically, Alice did mention something about a man, oh yeah, I've been down to Alabama before, I met a good, nice man in bed down there and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, wait, did that man, is that also Regina's daddy? Did Alice, was she a mistress to, Hilda's, husband? I don't know. But, from there, we actually have Regina come back up to the counter, and she mentions the whole job thing because she's looking for application. Regina's like, no, you ain't going nowhere, Mom. Like, no, honey, I'm not trying to get in the way of y'all's marriage and whatnot, and I'm not trying to cause any problems. And also, Alice lets the ball drop about how the night before her wedding, Big Dick Bill and Regina did it in the bathroom here at the sandwich shop. And Hilda was like, I'm surprised. This was a Miss Lisa moment. This was like the same kind of moment I was happy to see when Miss Lisa, was shocked at Fatima telling her about all the stuff that Karen's been doing. So, yeah, I'm glad Regina kind of got that little moment of comeuppance there that, she's acting like Bill ain't a saint, which he isn't. And because she clearly isn't either. Because she literally banged her ex on her the night before her wedding to Peter, and yet had the nerve to be up there and try to get married to him. All right, so in any case, final scene of the episode, Greg walks in on Bill and Claudia doing it, and apparently they've been knocking boots all day. This is the part of the episode where I'm docking points because it really makes no sense. All right, so Bill went over there in the morning. Greg had already went to work. Tom was on his way out. And, he said, yeah, Claudia's coming, a little bit later. So we can guess late morning, early afternoon tops to come clean the apartment. If we go by the exterior shots of Tom's apartment when Greg got back from work, it was already getting dark outside. And when Greg is inside and we look out the window, it's dark there too. So have these two been fucking all day long? And even weirder is the fact that apparently Claudia's phone was on because she had called her husband or something. So the entire time they were knocking boots, the phone was on and her husband was on the other end of the line. How does that make any sense at all? On top of that, they're freaking out. And then there's like a big knock on the door. It sounded like, somebody was going to break the door with the way they were knocking like that. And then, they're freaking out thinking the husband's on the other side. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. So again, that makes no, I mean, but then again, if you look at Claudia's body and, you know, Bill being tall and muscular, maybe they could do it all day. I don't know. But no, it is just, what the, how does that, like, did Claudia call, did she have her husband on the phone before she even came in the apartment? Because if you look at when she came in the apartment, she sat right down next to Bill. Next thing you know, her clothes came off and boom, they were going at it. Like, when did this phone call happen? Like, does her phone automatically answer a call that's coming through? Like, did her husband call in the midst of them, you know, doing the do? And I don't know. I got a straight talk phone. I don't even know if there are phones that can do that. There probably are. I don't know. But yeah, there was some bad storytelling with this, because I'm just trying to figure out how the hell did that happen? It makes no sense. But I do have a theory in the next video I'll talk about when I do episode 14. So yeah, 6 out of 10. The episode did have its good moments, but there are a few things that brought it down. So thanks so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.